Hey guys, it's Roy from Deskfirst, and in this video I'll show you a use case for Dan Clark, a real estate agent. So the first thing we'll talk about is creating a dedicated real estate workspace for every client. Dan works with many different clients simultaneously, and each has a different goal: to buy or sell properties. Now, to stay organized, Dan needs to have the ability to create a dedicated workspace for each of his clients. With Deskfirst, Dan can simply create a new workspace called a web desktop for each of his clients and switch between them easily. Let's have a look. We can simply click here, click on New Desktop, give it a name, allocate the storage, and click Create. Then, if we want to, we can switch between them easily. We go to the Desktop Manager, click on the desktop's name, and there we go. The next thing we'll talk about is uploading the files related to each real estate project. So Dan needs to upload all of the information to the web desktops created for his clients. With Deskfirst, Dan can simply drag and drop files from his device to his client's web desktop, and then it's possible to see images and videos right from within Deskfirst. Dan's clients never have to download images or videos, they can see them right from within their browser. Let's have a look. We'll click on a folder, click on an image, and then we can browse between them. Now let's look at a video. So as you can see, Deskfirst provides a really intuitive experience. Let's switch to desktop and talk about another feature. So now we'll talk about customizing appearance and branding of every web desktop to fit Dan's real estate brand. Dan wants to make the web desktops he creates for clients beautiful, and he also wants to have his real estate brand visible. So with Deskfirst, all that Dan needs to do is to pick a beautiful background from the Unsplash library, and he can also upload a custom logo and align it however he wants to. So let's have a look. We go into the customization options, and now we can switch backgrounds from the beautiful Unsplash library. Let's switch to branding. Here we can upload a logo and align it however we want to. Now let's switch to desktop and talk about another feature. So now we want to talk about sharing web desktops with real estate clients. With Deskfirst, all that Dan needs to do is to click on the share button and choose how he wants to share it. He can do this using an email invite with one of 3 roles. All you have to do is to enter the email, choose one of 3 roles, enter a message if you want to, and send the invitation. And then you can see who has access to the web desktop. Or if Dan wants to, he can simply generate a shareable link and choose if he wants to lock it with password. Then he can open the public links pane and see which links are active. Now, one of the most powerful aspects of Deskfirst is that, unlike other solutions which allow granting on the file or folder level, with Deskfirst, access permissions are granted on the web desktop level. This prevents access permissions chaos and allows Dan to always be in control over who has access to what. So whether you're a real estate agent or any other type of business, if you share files and collaborate, Deskfirst is the best option. Sign up now, it's completely free.